throwing jabs, always full send. Here we go again. Jared, Joe, and Jay's Clover Crest, top three corner man, punching in with a puncher's chance. We find a way to win. The main event, locked it in every Saturday at 10. The overhand is out of hand when it comes to fisticuffs. Slide a hand on the undercard, you'll never see the punch. Uppercut got you missing weight, feet are stepping late. Keep your guard up, feeling faint from a feint. Take a stand and eight, then retaliate. Put up your duke, stick and move, bob and weave. Don't lose hope against the ropes, there's always an escape. Never stay down. One more round, bells ringing. Counter punch with your chin tucked and go down swinging. We bringing crosses with no worship, hooks with no verses, combinations with no locks. When you feel the flurry, it's curtains. From scrub scraps to fight stats, relax if you want the facts. Cause the best combat podcast is throwing jabs.
The college football season is coming back, and we got you covered on every game. We're breaking it down on each snap all season long. Catch us every week starting on August 4th. Joe Aguirre, Sean Scanlon, Jace Garcia, and yours truly, Obi Muniz, giving you the highlights, predictions, and current rankings. Visit our website at hhwshow.com and subscribe to our YouTube channel. It's All Four Downs, part of the CMG Sports Podcast Network.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Posting Up Podcast. No Lucas, no Sean today. Don't worry. I'm Big J, joined by King Zay and Pride himself from Prideful Takes Podcast. Make sure you check that out. We got a lot to talk about. I'm going to bring you on, Pride, talk about your Celtics and a potential trade with Ben Simmons. I feel like every time I'm on a show with you the past couple weeks, or the past month, it's all about Ben Simmons this, Ben Simmons that. Now we get to talk a little bit about the Celtics as well. Well, what do you think of this trade as a Celtics fan? Ben Simmons, Jaylen Brown, who do you see coming out on top of that?
So first and foremost, I would not mind having Ben Simmons on our team. I wouldn't mind. There is two conditions to it. First and foremost, he is at best the third guy on the team. And second, we are not giving up Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. If I'm being so serious, if we trade Jaylen Brown for Ben Simmons, Brad Stevens needs to go back to college. Ownership needs to sell the team. And anybody who has any type of role in that office or management needs to get fired. Udoka needs to get fired. And it's not even his fault. But if this happens, we need to clean house. Because at that point, we might as well get rid of Jason Tatum. Might as well cut him. Release him. Let him go. Let him walk. Like, ain't no way. Look, who's better? Let's be honest. Who's better right now? Ben Simmons or Jaylen Brown? Who's better?
Right now? I take Ben Simmons.
And look, this is not to say that Ben Simmons is trash. I don't want to, Jay.
Jaylen Brown's a better player.
Right now, Jaylen Brown is not only the better player, but he fits better if you put him on any other team. He fits better, right? We do need, like the Celtics, we do need a legitimate point guard. I get that. So bringing Ben Simmons in, I'm not mad at that. I am not going to give up one of our focal pieces for Ben Simmons. I'm not going to do that because right now, Ben Simmons' role, unfortunately, right now, is just him as the third guy at best. Like, we've seen him be part of a 1-2 punch, and it just has not worked out. It just hasn't. Whether he can shoot or won't shoot, that's up for debate. I don't know which one it is, but the fact that he won't shoot on the court impacts it. And then on top of that, we've seen him kind of like, when he just, he kind of tends to just be like, yo, I just want to come, run the offense. It is what it is, and that's it. That's that's what I get from Ben Simmons. Like, he's the type of dude that's like, look, bro, if I get 10 or 15, I'm cooling. I don't care. I'm chilling. And then when you have something like that, that best fits a third guy. Ain't no way. We built this team around Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. If we get rid of any one of them, that'd be utterly ridiculous. It'll be stupidity. If this trade were to ever happen, we lost in more ways than one. We lost in terms of the players. We lost in terms of the actual trade. We've lost in terms of trying to, because every time they do chess plays, you try to let's try to one up them and try to get something. We lost in terms of the chess move. We lost in terms of we're now helping a rival who we thought before the season that we had the opportunity to be above them in terms of the standings. Like this is so. Zay, you're laughing about it, but before the season, nobody thought the Sixers would be who they were today. Let's call it what it is.
No, I had the Sixers in my top still. We did our preseasons, and I still had the Sixers in my top. I seen where they were going. They still have Joel Embiid.
Right.
Joel Embiid he's still an MVP caliber player still on that team. So if you have him, you can still go places, and that's where they are right now. They're still winning games because they have players like Embiid. So having Ben Simmons, it hurts not having him. But I do remember earlier we had you on for a show, and you were boasting how great Ben Simmons was, and how great teams would to have him.
Yes.
And now it's like you have an opportunity and you don't want him in your team.
No,
needs a point guard. Because you desperately need a point guard. Marcus Smart complains. We heard the complaints about not moving the ball. Dennis Schroeder is clearly not the other guy. I don't know what you were doing signing him there. That was just
that blew my mind. I have no idea what we were thinking.
So I see how this trade could work. Ben Simmons would work. I think Jaylen Brown would benefit from playing with Joel Embiid, and he would probably be able to space out the court more, help them out, and help Embiid in down low. But when it comes down to it, is like he said, it's not going to happen. They're the same division. It will never happen because if one player ends up excelling higher than the other team will just have to continue to look at, dang, that could have been us. So it's a trade that, and theoretically, it would work. It'd be great, but it's never fictionally ever going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
All right. I get that. I get what you both are saying. I do think if this trade does actually happen, I don't think there's necessarily a winner. I think both teams will benefit drastically. Jaylen Brown, I think he's that perfect. I think he complements well with Joel Embiid and could be that second guy. And Ben Simmons, like you said, they need a point guard, but also Ben Simmons is tall enough. Like, you could put him at center. When Embiid was hurting against the Hawks, he was guarding up Clint Capella. They were putting him at center. So he could come in and fill that role. He could be a point center. And you talked about it, say Marcus Smart getting mad about not getting the ball. Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum, I don't know why. They just haven't figured out how to play with each other. And Ben Simmons is one of those guys. He makes people better. He can distribute the ball. So I think both would work out really well. I think this is a trade that would be great. And honestly, if I were the Celtics, I might even give up. I would try and keep Jaylen Brown and give up Jason Tatum for Ben Simmons, because I've said on the past, I think Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum just because we've seen the evident growth with Jaylen Brown. We see him getting better year after year. Jason Tatum, he came in, he had all this. He had this expectation. He's lived up to it at times, but he's really stayed the same. I don't see him necessarily taking the next step like we've seen Jaylen Brown take season after season. He's improved. So I think if this were to happen and benefit both teams, I like it. But I I know it's a rivalry and that stuff. I think this is a trade that might make a lot more sense. It makes a lot of sense, and I think teams, regardless of the rivalry and this, and we want to face in the other team and that stuff, I think you look at the benefits for each team. I don't see why they wouldn't take it.
Don't matter to me. They both suck.
Yeah. I just don't. I can't believe you really said that Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum. That's perplexing to me. Like I don't think that's the case. I think Jason Tatum is just way better. You say there's no growth, but in terms of points, assists, I believe also rebounds, Jason Tatum has improved in every aspect every single year he's been in the league. Literally every single year. Like he improved. The only knock I have on him is that he just does not pass the ball as well as I think he should. Now, even though he's a 3/4, he has the ball a lot in his hands. So he should be able to have, he should be averaging something like, 5-6 assists when you have the ball in your hands that much. The most he's ever averaged, which again, not bad, but at the same time is 4.3 assists, which is nice, but at the same time, it kind of goes back to what Marcus Smart says. When your two best guys are just ISO guys, it kind of puts you in this weird position that when their buckets are not falling, the offense now in and of itself becomes very stagnant because they're not used to just dishing the ball out. They're just used to just keep shooting and shooting and shooting. And that doesn't always necessarily work because this is how I think any player who's in a shooting slump, if you keep shooting through it, you're an idiot. You should not be doing that. You should pass the ball, give yourself time, a little bit of time to relax and chill out, then take a shot. If you miss that first shot, it is what it is. You then penetrate, get fouled, go to the free throw line, and then just relax and work on your mechanics at the free throw line. Because once you see that ball going one time, you start to feel better and you'll get your groove, especially at the free throw line when it's, it's all motion and whatnot. That's how I feel. And they don't really do that. And again, the only knock I have on Jason Tatum is the fact that he's really not a passer when you're that ball dominant. That's really the only knock I have on him. But I mean, look, again, the only way I'll take Ben Simmons is if we don't get rid of Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. That's really it. Like if they want Marcus Smart, keep him. I don't really care. Take whoever you want. I don't care. Take whoever you want. We'll give you a few guys. I really don't care. I don't mind taking Ben Simmons. I really don't. I don't think he's this horrible player. I don't think he's gonna be like the best player on the championship team. Of course not. But this whole thing, I just think it's becoming easy and very casual to slander Ben Simmons. I think it's very easy to say that, but then nobody wants to talk about the 8 turnovers Joel Embiid had. Nobody want to talk about that. The fact that the Sixers were still in the game was because Ben Simmons was doing a great job on Trae Young. Nobody really wants to mention that. They just want to talk about that wide open layup that he had. That again, I will say he should have taken it. Why he passed out, I will never know. But they kind of tend to harp on that and not think of stop. And in terms of Philly fans, remember where y'all came from. You guys sucked so bad that you guys were pretending we're going to lose on purpose. Bro, they were trying to win, and they were, excuse my friend, I'm not going to say it, they were dog water. They were dog water. Then after that, they were like, oh, wait, now let's come out with the trust the process thing, right? They built the team around both Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, right? And like I said, me personally, I think whichever one you pick, you're going to have your trouble. Either you got to deal with Ben Simmons' lack of shooting, or you got to deal with Joel Embiid's always having an excuse for not showing up. Whether it be I got a tummy ache, he stubbed his toe, he was driving to the arena, and when he got out, he caught a Charlie horse, so now he's out for 3 weeks. Like the Sixers are in a tough position, but they got to pick one. And I'm gonna tell you this right now, man. Ben Simmons is not trash. I don't like the slander. I don't like coming at him saying he's trash. Does he have flaws? Yes, he does. Not going to give him any type of, pass for that. But let's not pretend that if you don't put him on any other team as like a third guy, he won't thrive and he won't be solid. Like I just don't think it's fair. And on top of that, you give Ben Simmons just a decent jump shot. If he shoots just 33% from three, or heck, just give him a mid-range shot they got to respect, we're having a whole separate conversation. So it's not like it's like 101 things you got to fix with Ben Simmons. Frankly, it's just a jump shot. And then once he has that jump shot, will be able to have a better grasp and a better way of looking at him and saying, okay, were we overhyping this dude, or is what he is? I just feel like give me just an average jump shot, and I think Ben Simmons will be one of the hottest commodities in the NBA.
I must commend you, Pride. You put on a good, I guess, marketing pitch for a player that nobody wants, nobody cares about, who's not even playing, and a team that the Celtics that's going to be in probably to play in if they're lucky. Again, no one cares. Sorry to break it to you. Your team's terrible. They're not good. They're not getting any better anytime soon. It's just really, really good.
I think we're in a slump.
No. There's a difference between being in a slump and just being not a good team. They're just not a good team. They have to figure out the center position. I think they need to figure out, and I think they need to figure out the power forward position, and also the point guard position. Because again, I don't think Marcus Smart is the answer. I don't think he will be, and I don't think Dennis Schroeder will ever be the answer for anybody. So I think that team is almost in a complete rebuild outside of Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. So I could see why Jace brings up the idea of trading and parting ways, probably to bring in more pieces, because like I said, y'all need a lot of help outside of just point guard position.
I don't think they necessarily need a lot of help. I think that the issue is,
well, you're a Knicks fan, so like,
no,
you gotta have the best record in the East, and you'll still think that we're like a playing team.
Animal this year. I'm not even making it up this year. The East is, I mean, obviously I'm going to save for what we talk about next, but the East is an animal. This isn't the same East that you could walk in and
we can still hold our own in the East
and win the division. This is you have to play. You have to play now in the East.
I understand that, but again, if you want to say that we're in a slump, I'll accept that, But in the play, I'm not gonna say that we're
barely made it last year. You barely made it last year,
bro. Last year was a mess.
No. Yes,
but what have you improved since? You bought in Schroeder and you bought in Al Horford, another washed up old. That's all you've done.
No,
improvement.
But they're close. The thing is that the Celtics are close. They are, but it's one glare.
They're close to the 8th seed.
Listen, they're close.
With y'all 4th seed, I got bounced in the first.
But listen,
like you guys are no closer than us.
Okay.
You guys are no closer than us.
Hold on,
we got bounced at first. But if we had the Boston Celtics in the first round, we wouldn't have. So it doesn't matter.
I disagree.
The Celtics they don't need a center. They don't need a point guard. They got two studs that just don't know how to play with each other.
They need a point guard, bro.
It's not really that they don't know how to play with each other. It's
not the point guard is complaining about ball movement.
Like,
you need a point
but hold on, no. Hold on.
Basketball.
Hold on.
See,
they don't respect.
Hey, no. You just exposed yourself. First it was Marcus Smart really isn't. He's not the answer in terms of the point guard position. Now you're gonna call him a point guard and say, "Oh, well, your point guard is complaining." So no.
He just said you don't need a point guard. I'm just agreeing with his logic that Marcus Smart is your point guard. I still don't believe he's the answer. I'm going off of Jace's logic. He said that's the point guard. They don't need a point guard. I feel they do. You still need a center. Williams is good, but he's not great. In the East, where you have guys, you have a Turner in the Pacers, who's a really good center. You have Embiid. You have, I hate to say it, Mitchell Robinson eventually will get there. He's not there, but he's starting to get there. He's scoring. Look. You have centers in the East that you have to be able to compete with, and you don't have. I don't think you have the centers there on your roster.
But we've never had it. We never have. But the thing is, we don't see the thing is our best player is not going to be our center. You see what I'm saying? Like that's why I was upset when we let go of
your
Daniel
championship years. You had Garnett. You had.
I'm talking about now.
But you had. I'm saying your championship years. You had established big men. You don't have that now.
I'm talking about now.
What have you won since you've lost that?
Oh no, but hold on. You can't say that because when Miami Heat won it, you tell me it's because they're big men. No. When Golden State won, you tell me it's because they're big men. No. When Cleveland won, you think they're big men. No. So stop trying to make it seem like if you don't have a big man, you're.
Golden State has a different thing. Golden State has two of the greatest shooters of all time. You don't have that.
Excuses.
You don't have that to make.
Okay, so Cleveland. Hold on. So Cleveland. So what was the thing with Cleveland? Because they had Tristan Thompson at the 5. Who was pretty good.
Finals, they also had LeBron James, the greatest player to probably ever play the game.
Again, excuses.
Come on. You don't have that neither. You don't have the greatest player to play the game. You don't have great shooters.
Hold on. Hold on. I get where you're coming from, Zay. I used to be a center. I love the big men. But in today's day and age, centers just don't really matter. Unless
It's
you're
not
a
about having
Jokic,
centers.
unless you're a point center, it isn't going to help you.
No,
I
I
mean,
can't say that.
I get what you're saying.
Look at
I get what you're saying. They're struggling.
What are you
Listen, let me keep talking.
Right.
I get what you're saying. They just don't have the guy. I mean, their depth of center is really bad. But, I mean, you can keep saying, oh, we don't have a point guard. Oh, we don't have a center. Oh, this, that. But the real issue is you have two studs on your team that can't play together, and they put up numbers, but they aren't making the rest of your guys better. That's the real issue. They're not making everyone else – they're not elevating everyone else around them.
And to piggyback off of you, Jace, only one of them really needs to be able to like pass like that. If we're going to be honest, they both do the same thing, which is kind of the problem that we have. If it was Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown, if one of them was like a one who could orchestrate the offense, again, they don't have to all of a sudden be the second coming of Jason Kidd, Steve Nash, or Chris Paul. They don't have to be like that. But if they can just do it enough where like if the shots aren't falling, they could run some offense, run a few plays where, now everyone as an entirety is now pitching in. That's one thing. So I think it's like one of them is going to have to pass, right? But again, we still do have some other problems that we have. You know what I mean? Like obviously the big man. But again, to sit here and pretend like we have to go get back in time and let's go get a prime Boogie Cousins. No, we don't need to do that. We just need a big man that fits what we have. Daniel Tice was that guy. Like he was a dude who was solid. He wasn't the best, but he fit what we had. Then we traded him to the Bulls, which I don't know why we did. He then became a free agent. We didn't even talk to the guy. We let him literally cross the country to go to Houston, which I did not understand. I do not like, and I do not support at all. Because personally, that's the kind of guy that we needed. We needed a dude like that who was gritty, would get in the trenches, and that was just his role, and that was his job. Like again, the problem I have with the Celtics right now is like the guys that we need to in the big man position, it's not that hard to acquire them. Because again, we don't need a top 5 we don't need a Jokic. We don't need that. We don't need an Embiid. We don't need a Karl Anthony Towns. It would be great if we had them, but we really don't need them because our best player is Jason Tatum, and then our second best player is Jaylen Brown. And so it's kind of like when you're building around them, we already did the thing where we try to bring in vets to try to lead. We did that same thing with Kyrie. We already did this with Gordon Hayward. We already did this with Kemba Walker. And so it's like we don't really need to bring anybody in to be better than them. We just need to bring somebody in who knows their role, can just go get us some rebounds, hold it down, and that's really it. Daniel Tice did it for us. We let him go. God knows, God bless him. I hope one day he ends up coming back before he's washed. But, again, to sit here and pretend like, oh yeah, the Celtics trash. I don't know. That to me, that's just I don't think that's. And at the same time, we're acting like the trade deadline is come and gone. Like we still got time. So
plenty of time. And you brought up a good point. Like I said, every team, if you look at it, even the East, look at the Milwaukee Bucks, a Bobby Portis type of guy, somebody who just there grabs those.
Giannis is their center. Let's be real.
Yes, but honestly, Bobby Portis is a huge part of that team. If you want to, I can't discredit him. He's a real huge part of that team. He grabs important rebounds, he plays defense, and he gets the buckets that count. And that's what I'm saying. The Celtics don't have that guy inside yet. That hurts. And when you don't have a serious point guard, and when you don't have players that can shoot the lights out, you don't have these things to cover up your flaws that these other teams have. And that's what I'm saying. Golden State, yes, they have 2 great shooters to cover up the fact that they don't have great centers. They have great shooters who basically don't miss that all the time. When you have these things, you can do that. You don't have that yet. I think, and I agree with Jace, you have to split up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You have to at this point. Sometimes players just don't work out together. And maybe bringing in somebody else may help one of the two thrive better. That's really what it comes down to. They have to be able to. Sometimes they're growing in a space that's not big enough for them to grow in. That's just what it is. You have to move on. What else can you do? You're gonna hold them for 5 more years and then realize, all right, it didn't work, so we got to get rid of them. I don't see this team making a championship run in 5 years. I'm sorry.
These are 2 guys who've been in the league. Like these 2 guys, you could probably say Jaylen Brown is in his prime. Yeah. Jason Tatum is nowhere near his prime.
Yes, but look at this. Look at the Suns, a young team. A young team in the finals last year because it worked. They
Listen,
found
no,
Hold on.
but
No,
it's
why?
different.
But
That's
why? Who did they
different.
add? Who did they add?
Yes, they
Chris
added a
Paul,
vet.
they're-
Like
Oh, so
Chris
that's
Paul.
my
Agreed.
point. If you add a respectable point guard to this offense, one that can run the offense, and one that you'll kind of look at and say, okay, he knows what he's talking about. Like to sit here and pretend like, oh yeah, we gotta break up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, bro. Jason Tatum's not even in his prime.
Is he?
Bro, if I'm mistaken, I think I'm older than Jason Tatum.
He's 23. Yeah. I don't know how old he is.
Like so to pretend like, oh yeah, bro, they are what they are. You know what I mean? You gotta break them up. I feel like you're pulling the trigger too early.
You gotta.
How long do you wait then, Pride?
How long exactly?
How long
I agree. How long do you wait till you realize that we've reached the ceiling on this player? How long? Sometimes it doesn't.
At least wait till the kid gets in his prime. At least wait till the kid gets in his prime. And don't shake. No, and you cannot shake. And here's the thing: you're out there trying to shake your head. But again, this is a point that I'm trying to prove. Ben Simmons right now is in his prime, correct?
Yeah, if you want to call it that.
And again, is he in his prime?
Yes.
Okay. Now they're trading him. They didn't trade him 2 years ago. They didn't trade him. They're trading. They're trying to trade him now when he's in his prime, when they're realizing it won't fit. You can't sit here and say, "Yep, we got an up and coming guy. We got and Jason Tatum, a guy who's not in his prime yet. Then we got Jaylen Brown. You know what? One guy really is in his prime. He's still trying to learn the game. Yeah, let's blow it up. What? Where do they do that at?
Learn the game.
That's absurd to me, bro. That's kind of like the same thing in Dallas. They're not going to blow up Luka Doncic and Kristaps Porzingis yet. Why? Because Luka's still not in his prime. They're still not in his prime. There's different ways you can go about it. It's not like they tried every single thing they could have with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum and nothing has worked. There's still different avenues they can go down with these guys. And to sit here and pretend like they did everything they could possible and it just wasn't enough, I don't think that's fair at all. I don't think it's fair. I don't think it's logical. I just think right now it's just more along the lines of Jason Tatum is playing great and people don't put in context that this kid is still young. He's still learning the game, even though for as great as he is, he's still learning it. Why are we gonna blow it up? That's just my whole thing on it. I don't know. I mean, personally, I'm not trading either one. That's just me. I'm not trading either one of them.
All right. I mean, the thing is to me, it's just so evident that it feels to me. I mentioned this last Tuesday. We were talking about Steph Curry and how he changed the game. And when LeBron came in, it was the ball movement era. Steph Curry came in, got rid of the center. It was the 3-point shot era. This is before LeBron. They're trying to play basketball before LeBron. Just all ISO stuff with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. There's no ball movement. You got to start getting the guys better. The people that if you're a real star in this league, you have to elevate the people around you, and none of them do that. None of those two do that. Maybe I mean, if you're going to keep holding on hope that one of them makes that turns that leaf. I mean,
it works for me. I don't care. Let them do it. At this point, I think we spent too long on a play-in team anyway.
No, I mean, yeah, maybe, but I mean, regardless, they going from the Eastern Conference Finals. I mean, they've taken steps back, and eventually, you gotta do something to change stuff up.
And that's why I said they probably reached their ceiling, but whatever.
Right.
Yeah, because the Knicks definitely are a problem, bro. Definitely are a problem.
Did I say we're a problem? Did those words come out of my mouth? You see you're feeling some type of way. That's really what.
No, it's not that. It's just like you're
early on. You're feeling. Look,
you're trying to poo-poo on
it is what it is.
It's fair to do that right now. I don't think
your team is consistently getting worse and worse year in year, and we're getting better. It's just okay. I understand how it feels. I've been in this position. I've been when my team was the worst team. I know how you feel. I sympathize with you. I'm here.
Celtics are the worst team.
I'm here.
Celtics are the worst team. You hear that?
Look at the standings right
now.
Regardless
of anything,
you look at the standings last year.
I'm not wasting my breath no more. Again, this is a dude who just said, "Oh yeah, bro, Jaylen Brown better than." I'm not wasting my breath for something like this, bro.
Okay. Regardless, the Celtics are taking a step back, and they have to figure something out.
I'm here.
But all right,
the pieces are there. The pieces are there.
They're there, but eventually
they're broken.
Yeah, maybe. But hold on.
Like the Squid Game pieces.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, oh, just like your team broke in the playoffs.
Okay.
So-
All right. We need to take a break, cool down, and we'll come back, talk some pretenders and contenders. But first, let's hear a little sponsor from Clovercrest Media.
It's been a pretty wet summer in Connecticut, and that means more mosquitoes than ever. If you didn't have your home service for mosquito control and find you're spending most of your time outside swatting those little pests, you are in luck. Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut provides the best value in mosquito control services because of how they treat your yard using the Mosquito Shield tailored treatment system. They don't use a fixed schedule or an identical product, one-size-fits-all service program because you can't control mosquitoes on a set number of sprays or visits. Unlike the competition, Mosquito Shield of Central Connecticut will service you for the season, whatever it takes to provide superior results. This promise has awarded them an industry-leading consumer retention rating of 90%. Visit MosquitoShieldCT.com to schedule an appointment with Wade DeCesare and enjoy the rest of your summer mosquito-free.
Big shout out to Mosquito Shield. Make sure you check them out. Mosquito Shield CT. Tell them Posting Up Podcast and Clovercrest Media sent you, and they'll hook you up for this next spring, give you a little discount. But now we're in the early season. I mean, we still don't really know what teams necessarily look like as is. I mean, we got freeze up, people who haven't played yet. But let's start talking about pretenders and contenders. Who is someone that, I mean, has played well so far this early season, but is expected to fall off, or who's just going to keep the ball rolling and keep going? We'll start with you, Zay. Who are your pretenders and contenders?
Well, the standings for the most part, everything has seemed the way I expected. Rough start for Damian Lillard in Portland. I don't expect that, but I'm not going to put them in a category yet because it's still early. But as far as pretenders, I would like to throw the Atlanta Hawks in there because the Atlanta Hawks I put a lot higher this year, and I was expecting them to play way better. And the Atlanta Hawks are just playing under expectations. Don't care if they turn it around. I'd hope they wouldn't, but if they do turn it around, that would help them out. Obviously, like we said, these are still early pretenders and contenders, but I like to see the Atlanta Hawks to me look like an early pretender. Like they should have been higher than they are, and they're low. As far as contenders, I think it's time to start taking a real look at the Wizards. I think they really might have something. I know it's early. I know, but Beal, Spencer Dinwiddie, Ryu Hashimura, all these guys, they're playing, bro. I mean, I hate to jump on the bandwagon and drink the Kool-Aid early, but the Wizards are playing, and I'm going to show them some respect early because I don't want to be the guy at the end of the year when the Wizards are still up there who thought they were a pretender and they were a contender the whole time. But obviously, pride feels different, so I'll let him.
Hey, no, well, hold on. Before we get to pride, just walked off. I'm gonna defend you a little bit there. I'm not that mad at that take because I mean, look at a team like look at the Milwaukee Bucks. They just won a championship. Yeah, Chris Middleton is a 2, but I mean, it is the 2 on that team. I think there's a lot of teams he wouldn't necessarily be a 2 on. But I mean, when you can just get guys and you can build around your star and make him good. I mean, the Russell Westbrook experiment, it obviously didn't work out. I mean, it's not even working out for
he's LA's problem now.
But no, I mean, you got this star and you're just putting a bunch of pieces around him. So I mean, I don't necessarily, I don't have him as either a pretender or a contender, to be quite honest with you right now, because I still don't know about him. But I mean, pride, you don't think the Wizards can?
Not even close, and not even close. Look, we got to put something in context, bro. These kids are playing with house money. That's something we need to understand. In like a month or two, if they still play like this and that pressure's on him, come on now. We need to put in context. Spencer Dinwiddie never really been under that type of pressure. Montrezl Harrell has been, and what happened? He then shuts down because when it gets tough for him, as much as I like him and as much as I respect him, when that pressure comes down, we know what happens to him. We already know what happened with Kyle Kuzma with pressure. Don't even get me started with him and Bradley Beal. He does this weird thing when it comes to pressure. You know what I mean? Like he tries. Sometimes he really can't, but I give the guy kudos. He actually tries, but I'm looking at this. No way. Like, bro, this is the epitome The epitome. Go look up pretender in the dictionary, and you're gonna see the Washington Wizards logo. Like, when I'm telling you right now, put pressure on them. Once people are start saying, "Oh my God, these guys," because look, it's easy to play with house money. Hold on, but hear me out. It's easy to play with house money. Case in point, the Atlanta Hawks did that last year. Let's be honest. They did that last year. They played with house money. Then when all of a sudden people said, "Oh man, there's they might be able to do it," that pressure came. All of a sudden, the Hawks wasn't all. They looked how people expected them to look prior. Frankly,
how their injury to their point guard, it was who literally it was a big factor. Trae Young's ability to score was huge for them in the playoffs. It's what killed us in the first round, and it's the reason the NBA changed the foul rule.
Was he playing?
Reason the NBA changed the foul?
Was he playing?
He played a couple of games in that.
So then I don't. My thing is,
and he wasn't 100.
No. When you're on that court, you're not. You should not be allowed. If LeBron James, when he strained his groin a few years back, especially with the Lakers, and he went and played horribly, we're not gonna look at him and say, "Oh, it's the groin." No, when you're out there, not only do you know you're hurt, but you know you still need to perform. You can't just go out there and say, "Oh yeah, I'm injured," and then expect people to go, "Oh shucks, it's all good." You can't really do that. I'm not going to give you that standard. Same thing. If Jason Tatum's hurt and we're in the playoffs and he's hurt and he tries to fight through it and he has a bad game, guess what? You have a bad game because not only do you know you're hurt, but you understand you're not at 100%. And not only do you step on the court, you then try to play like you're 100% instead of making the adjustments that you need to make as a player. And if I'm hurt and I can't score, that's fine. I can still pass. I can still orchestrate the offense. I can at least help out defensively. So my thing is, when it comes to injuries and you're still playing, that kind of tells me who you are as a player most of the time because we get to see the adjustments you make. If you're not 100%, well, what can you do? What can you still bring? You need to now focus on that. So if you're on the court, I'm not doing that whole injury thing. I'm not, because if we're going to play that game, then we could say the Brooklyn Nets should be the shadow champion. I'm not playing that game.
I say that.
I'm not.
I say that.
And I'm not playing that.
The Brooklyn Nets are 100% healthy. Good chance the Bucks don't win that series. I say it all the time.
And guess what? And guess what?
Play that game because there's actual facts to prove this. We know the fact of the Nets being the juggernaut that they are. We know.
And I understand that.
We're not just making that up of an assumption.
But they lost. That's all it comes. And I understand it was the injuries, and I get it was the injuries. And I believe healthy. I think it would have went the other way. But we can't really say that because guess what? I could have been born a girl, but lo and behold, I look down, I got a stick, and I'm a boy. So we really can't play the whole what if thing. We really can't. We can't. And to go back on it, I love LeBron James. The first year when they played, when he went back to Cleveland, the first year they played Golden State, when Kyrie and Kevin Love went down, I believe they would have won. Are we gonna give LeBron that ring? No, because at the end of the day, like it happened, they went down. He ended up losing, and that's how I look at it here. And I'm with you. I think I really genuinely believe the Nets would have won. I do, but we can't give them that ring. We can't give them the NBA Finals appearance because they didn't make it. Regardless. And again, injuries is a part of the game, unfortunately. When you're building your big three and two of those guys have a history of injuries, you're kind of shooting yourself in the foot if we're going to be honest. You know what I mean? And that's just how I look at that whole Nets thing. Again, I agree with you. I would have, you know what I mean? They should have won. But injuries is still something in the game you kind of do have to account for. Because when you're an athlete in any sport, even golf, even NASCAR, that's something you still need to take into consideration. You know what I mean?
I don't know how you get injured in NASCAR.
You turn too hard, you sprain your wrist or something. I guess I don't know, but
I don't know, bro. I've just never seen a NASCAR injury report, so I wouldn't know.
Dale Earnhardt died. That's
I've seen death. I've
seen death, but in terms of
questionable to race because
I've seen a couple, but they don't. It's not questionable. It's kind of like when they get injured, they just pull out. They're like, I'm not.
Never seen drive time decision on a NASCAR.
Drive time decision. That's a good one. That's what drive time decision. I like that one. But here's my thing. I just the Wizards are to me they're pretenders. We won't really. I'm gonna call them that. We won't really know if they're legit until you start putting expectations on them. Let's call it what it is.
I can't do that because I seen this early from my team last year, and I thought it was going to be a pretend situation. They finished 4th seed. You can't do that.
Yes, you can.
You have to see
No.
when a team is playing well and when they're meshing well.
But here's the thing: in the middle, hold on, but
meshing well. That's
here's the thing:
different.
In like what was it? I think it was like 30 games in. People started saying, "Is New York back?" The pressure king. Tell me how your team reacted when that pressure was there. What happened?
We finished the 4th seed. We finished the 4th seed.
So that's the difference.
We had the possibility of finishing 6th, and we finished the 4th seed.
But
when
here's
the
the
pressure kicked, and that's what I'm saying.
And that's what I'm saying. But right now the Wizards aren't in that position. That's what I'm saying. Right now,
Bradley Beal is a vet of any vet.
Yes, he is.
He's one of the best. He's one of the best players in the league. If I want to say, I can out there say that. So if anybody can go out there and lead that team, to me, it's this guy. Because again, he's
right. But now look at everybody.
The only thing that could stop him is if they put a COVID mandate in their state. That's the only thing that's gonna stop him.
Not really though, but not really. Because here's and this is the part I'm trying to get you to see, bro. Like pressure. How is the pressure? I'm not worried about Bradley Beal. That's not the problem. I'm not worried about that. It's everybody else. When that pressure comes down, how are they gonna feel? Because look, in the beginning, I'm gonna call these dudes. I'm waiting to see when the pressure hits them. When people start having expectations, how they react. Because look, on paper going 8-3, sure, whatever. But again, there's no pressure. They're playing with house money. They don't care. They're like, look, if we lose, it is what it is. Everyone's gonna say we told you so. And if we win, people are gonna kind of give us like a faint applause. Like they're playing with house money, so they're chilling. So there's no way I'm gonna even think on God's green earth, even on paper. Let's Washington Wizards, right? Are they better than Brooklyn? Nope. Are they better than the Bulls? The Bulls are more of a contender because there was pressure on them from the jump. Because they were trying to say all these offseason acquisitions was never going to work. So if anything, the Bulls are closer. If anything. And are they better than the Cavs?
I think a lot of people
better than the Sixers.
I think a lot of people expected the Bulls to be where they are right now. They're top in the division.
No.
Even with the acquisitions, come on. You're talking about you add a player like DeMar DeRozan to any team, and you're talking about your team become significantly better. I don't want to disrespect him. The reason DeMar DeRozan has never played in NBA Finals is because LeBron James. It's really the only reason why he's never played in the NBA Finals. It's because LeBron James.
The thing is, you're not disrespecting him. Other people were. There were people who were doing the list on like the free agency stuff, and they were saying DeMar DeRozan's acquisition was one of the worst.
They
were plus.
I would have took him all day
to win.
I would have took him all day. He would have been a great addition. I feel on my team. That's preposterous. You talk again, a guy who will get. I think people underestimate LeBron's 15 championships or appearances or whatever it is.
They do.
Or 19. They do. You underappreciate. You don't realize how many people he's prevented from getting to the finals by him just getting there. He's affected so many people's legacies. One being DeMar DeRozan, I believe. Again, who should probably have that title to Toronto should probably have went to him. It probably shouldn't have went to Kawhi. If LeBron had left early and went to the West, who knows? Maybe that is his championship.
I just want to say one thing real quick. I know this is basketball, but Robert Woods tore his ACL. So OBJ, that's like a super highway for OBJ's happiness right there.
Yeah.
I just want to throw that out there. I gotta remake the video now. Because I just finished it. Now that I got a torn ACL now. Yeah, I gotta
a little off topic, but LA's their chances to win the Super Bowl just got worse. I'll get to that on Wednesday. Wednesday.
Okay. All right, yeah.
I'm happy to hear you on that one. But real quick, a legit contender I have, Golden State Warriors. I think right now the way they're playing is like, they're playing phenomenally. Steph, for some unknown reason, I'm pretty sure in the offseason someone said something about his daughter, maybe his wife. Maybe they're making pokes, their funds that his parents getting a divorce or something, right?
His wife.
This kid has been. This man, I'm not gonna call my kid no more because they'll beat me up. This man has been furious. He's playing on a MVP level, and like, don't be surprised if people are gonna ask, is Steph Curry gonna be another unanimous MVP? This is gonna be the second unanimous MVP of his career. Don't be surprised if people ask that. And what's nice is not only is he clicking, Jordan Poole is clicking. Andrew Wiggins is doing his thing. They're doing this so that way when Clay comes back, there's no pressure.
And
Clay can, you know what I mean? Like Clay can just kind of, they can just ease. He can ease back and he can relax. And don't be surprised if they have a comfy record. Don't be surprised if they throw a couple games away to force Clay to get back into it, where they start forcing the ball, where you're going to see him shooting the ball 20, 25 times. I wouldn't be surprised if you see something like that because, the way this Warriors team is clicking, look, bro, Clay at 80%, that's scary. That's scary. And again, he doesn't have to come back 100. He comes back 80. This Warriors team, they going to be a problem.
Yeah, I mean, Warriors are definitely for real. I mean, we talked about it on Tuesday. Them not even having Clay right now is wild. But just quickly back to the Wizards. Like, I get where you're coming from, Zay. I also get where you're coming from, Pride. But the thing that really keeps them off my pretenders or contenders list is, while they have first in the East right now, they're also only 3 games out of not even being in the playoff hunt or being in the hunt, not even being in the play-in game. So, it's a long,
still early.
Everyone, I know.
Everyone's
it's
a game apart. Yeah, for the
long
most
season.
part. Yeah, a game or two can change everything. It's still early. Yeah.
So yeah, but long season. We got a lot to go. I don't know. I like what they did. Maybe it was something like maybe with a Bradley Beal, you don't necessarily need that true number 2. You just need a bunch of pieces around him. But we'll see how that plays off. That's why I don't have him here. But for me, I'm gonna say as a pretender, I got number 7 in the West, the Lakers, man. I've talked a lot. I do think when Kendrick Nunn gets healthy, he'll help them a lot. But just, having these old guys, Carmelo's played great. Russ has struggled. But I just think those two, LeBron and AD are going to be your guys. Dude, I don't think Carmelo, he's made a case to be that 3 as far as scoring-wise. He's done pretty well. So maybe I'll give him the slide. But Russ, I think he's trying to do a little bit too much. I think you need these guys like Malik Monk to really step up. I think he's a guy that could have a potential to get in there and be one of the top 3 scorers. And I think a guy like Kendrick Nunn, once he gets healthy, he can do that. But, just the fact that these guys aren't gelling together, and I think it's going to take some time to figure stuff out.
A lot of time.
It's just Westbrook, and again, not having LeBron hurts. I think Westbrook's trying. I agree with you. He's trying too hard. I think he's trying to fit in. He's trying way too hard. I think eventually they might have to make a move again and get rid of Westbrook.
But here's the question:
he might be the odd man out.
Because here's the thing, I've said this before, and I'm sticking by it. When the Russell Westbrook became the Kyle Kuzma of this team. Right. And it was just because I'm not talking about in terms of playing. I'm just talking about in terms of when you go and play. Kyle Kuzma he never seemed like a good fit. He always looked like the odd man out. They brought in Russ, and Russ is kind of just doing the same thing. And I'm not saying Kuzma's better than him. I'm not gonna say that. But I'm talking about on the court. If you watch it, like you said, Zay, you low-key kind of agree with me. Because you said Russ is the odd man out, and that's what Kuzma was. And they got rid of Kuzma because he was the odd man out. You know what I mean? Like, that was kind of the thing. So you kind of bring in Russ. And like I said, look, it's not really that he's trying too hard. Look, I've said this before. And here's the thing. A lot of casual fans who don't know basketball and just watch it, but they don't really break it down. They say the triple doubles. And they think a triple double means you're a great player. That's usually what people think. Now, I'm not gonna take nothing from the triple doubles because listen, in and of itself, great feat. You gotta be a good athlete to get, or forget good. You gotta be a freak athlete with high endurance to do that. And I'm not gonna take that from him. However, a lot of this stuff really comes down to the fact that Russ really is not smart. In terms of basketball, he's not smart, and you can easily tell just by watching him.
I would say he's not smart. That would say he's not smart.
Again, if you,
I would say he's.
So let me ask you a question.
He's not making the right decisions right now, but I don't think he's not. I wouldn't say he's
but
not
okay,
smart.
If you consistently don't make the right decisions, that does not mean you're smart.
I think it's more of a pride issue for him. I think he wants to be the guy that in a lot of these situations, especially at the end of the game, he wants to be the guy that helps them close it out, and he's not doing it. And I think it's more of a pride issue. I think over smarts. I think Russ is. He's in a bit of a decline. I hate to say it. Russell Westbrook is in a bit of decline.
He is.
He's not the player. He's not
Right.
the player that he was, and I think he's having a little bit of an issue accepting that, and he seems to be forcing the issue a lot instead of passing it on. And we see that at the end of games. He blew it against OKC the other day. He was like,
but here's the thing.
pass the ball up.
But
he
here's
looks
the
like
thing.
he wants to be the Russ from when he was on OKC, when he was the guy, when he took over and took control, and he had the triple-double record, and he was that everything for them. But he has to understand he's not that same player anymore. And that's what I think he's having an issue accepting.
It's not even just that he's not the same player. Like, it's not really just that. It really just comes down to the fact that Russ is the way he plays. It's really not smart, if we're going to be honest. And I'm going to explain to you why I'm saying it's not smart. Russ understands he's not a three-point shooter. Against the Miami Heat, he hit 2 back-to-back mid-rangers that tied the game, right? The Lakers then had the ball. He had PJ Tucker on him. What did he do? I will tell you what he did. I believe it was Anthony Davis who went up to give him a screen. He did a half-hearted thing where he kind of went by the screen and let PJ Tucker go over it and come back to him because Russ wanted to shoot a 3, which he sucks at. This is a history of this guy doing stuff like that. This is a guy who, on top of that, when it comes to passing, does a lot of stupid passes, hence the turnover problem he has. This is a guy who, when if you're up 10, will shoot a 3, 18 seconds on the shot clock left. Is that not an IQ problem? That's kind of my point. Again, I'm not going to say he's brain dead, but the thing people need to understand is, like, when you're playing a game, you need to have some sort of IQ that you can rely on consistently. Russ doesn't have that. I just, again, it sucks for me to say that, but again, you suck at threes. Oh yeah, let me start chucking up 3. You feel me? Let me throw a ball into double coverage for absolutely no reason and throw ball. And again, these are balls that Russ are throwing that no one's touching. He's throwing them out of bounds. Out of bounds.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. I wouldn't say it's necessarily like a in-game, maybe a little bit in-game IQ or not necessarily smart plays. I just think him playing at 100 miles per hour just doesn't work when you've got all this talent around him. You need to be able to look at a guy like I'm bringing him up again, the Joker, Jokic. This dude, he slows the game down and he forces everyone to play at his pace. He isn't just going and just running at the wall full speed. The thing, the real issue I have.
The thing with Jokic is he really can't run at the wall full speed. I mean, if we're gonna be,
it's like the kids' movie Cars, Jays. With Lightning McQueen at the end, where you realize he's really, really old, and all the other cars.
They all
Russell Westbrook is running. He's not the Ferrari he used to be, and he wants to go full speed, and it just doesn't work for him no more. He has to find a way to transition his game. And if he doesn't, he won't last in the league.
The thing here is, I think him, I mean, it's great. He's almost averaging 20 points per game, but he doesn't need to be a scorer with this team. He needs to be more of a facilitator. And, I mean, I know he's got a lot of turnovers, but when you're playing at that speed, you're going to – you bring up the cars, you're driving that fast, you're going to crash it every now and again. So if he can slow it down,
but I mean, look,
if he can slow it down, facilitate more, make sure LeBron isn't always the guy bringing up the ball. Have him facilitate me and kick it out to LeBron sometimes.
Russ isn't good at facilitating.
I mean, averaging a triple. He averaged a triple double. He got 10 assists. He averaged 10 assists. So
right, but if you watch how those assists are. A good number of them are in garbage time where it's a fast break. He could have done something. Then he stops, pivots, and gives the ball to somebody. I'm just saying we got to keep that in context. Like, high assist numbers doesn't necessarily mean you're a good facilitator. For instance, like when he was averaging triple double, those 10 assists, he probably was a couple away from Chris Paul. Like, does that mean that he's a better facilitator or he's on the same level as a Chris Paul? Like, that's kind of just my thing.
I get what you're saying,
you know
but
what I mean?
Also I do think that also has to go with the playing 100 miles per hour all the time. Like when you are able to slow down, you're able to you're not tunnel visioned on the basket. You can see the floor clear and set people up because he has that. He does have that, but it is just the fact of him going 100 miles per hour, and I think that's really hurting them. That's why I have them as a pretender right now. They have to figure stuff out.
Yeah, I know you said they might have to trade him. Let's call it what it. Who would legitimately trade for Russ right now in his career? That the Lakers could reach for, that the Lakers could reach out to, exactly, like that the Lakers could reach out to and get a legit piece. That, because listen, the Lakers are in a win now mode. So not only got to make the money match, but they also need a player who can help them out.
No, I mean, Westbrook doesn't fit in anywhere.
Turn to Philly.
The best
Turn to Philly for Ben Simmons.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. Hold on. I'll be honest with you. I wouldn't hate that deal.
Embiid would.
Oh, no. I'm talking about if you're running the Lakers. I don't hate that, because even though you're not getting jump shooting, but this is a team that does a jump shooting by committee. You're replacing a guy who sucks at shooting, but Ben Simmons kind of brings you a little bit extra to the game in terms of he could run the floor better defense. He's a good defender, good rebounder. So that's kind of what I'm coming from. But outside of that, some people think that they could still reach out to Sacramento to get Buddy Hield. I think the ship has sailed on that. I don't think that's even possible. But it's kind of like, where would Russ go at this point? Like, who would take that money?
No, he would go somewhere. I mean, the thing is he, like I've said with this, he's not accepting his role. He still wants to be that 100 miles per hour. He still wants to be that guy. And if that's the role you want to be, it's going to have to be for a Magic. It's going to have to be for the Pelicans. It's going to have to be for Detroit. It's going to have to be for one of these bottom of the barrel teams.
You traded Boston for Dennis Schroeder.
I'd rather deal with Dennis Schroeder. I would rather deal with Dennis Schroeder. I would rather deal with him.
All right. Well, let me get on to my contender. I mean, we spent enough on Russell Westbrook. I mean, I'm sure they'll probably figure it out, but right now they're a pretender for me. But for my contender, going from number 7 in the West to number 7 in the East, the Toronto Raptors. They are playing good basketball.
That's a good one.
They don't even have Siakam. I mean, Siakam struggled last year. I think he'll get back to where at least all right. OG is playing great. Scotty Barnes, he's rookie of the year. He's a beast. This team, I mean, I said this during the offseason. This team, they're one of the best in player development. All these guys, they're just bringing up from the Raptors, and they're doing pretty well, and it's been accelerated with Scotty Barnes. I think this is a team that's going to compete with a lot of the good teams. It's going to continue to compete. I do think their ceiling's probably the play-in tournament and getting in, but I think they are a actual contender for the play-in tournament because these guys are clicking. They're playing well, and I mean, we still have to see what they're like with Siakam because I think that could change a lot and can make this team a lot well. And I mean, like I mentioned earlier, from 11 to 1, it's only 3 games. I know it's early, but this East is very competitive, and it's also very open right now.
Yeah, I mean, the only knock I have is just I don't think you can call them contenders. Kind of for like the reason you said. They're right now they got a lot of good young players who are still developing, right? Like, I think you can, like, in terms of the future, right now it looks like Toronto's kind of trending in the right direction because with all this nice young talent they have. I wouldn't call them contenders yet, but I do get your point. I mean, Scotty. I mean, look, rookie of the at this point, I don't even think it's close. I mean, everyone was like, "Oh yeah, it's got to be Cade or Green or I threw out Davian Mitchell as a joke one day. But I mean, Scotty at this point, I think it is really, even though it is early. Yeah, this kid is definitely something special. But just because they're too young, I just think they need a little more experience.
But the thing is,
but
they're developing. They're already coming out well. This is a team, I think, as things go on, they'll just get better and better and be more competitive in more and more games. So that's why I have them as a contender, because I think we have yet to see the ceiling this season of them, to be honest. So I think they're a legitimate contender in the East. So we will see. We will see. But We will take another quick break. We will be right back with our locks of the night to end it out. So stay tuned.
So, Jess, why did you become a realtor?
I worked in various customer service jobs, so I wanted something a little bit more rewarding. Becoming a real estate agent, being able to help people find their forever homes or their investment homes, starter homes. It's very exciting, so a lot of fun.
Now, you've gotten off to a really good start in your real estate career. What has been the most rewarding part of this for you so far?
Helping people, especially like first-time home buyers, finding their first home. They're so excited. I'm so excited to help them. So it's a nice, rewarding part.
What is it that you think makes you different than other real estate agents?
I think that my various roles in customer service has helped me. So I like to ask a lot of questions and I want to know what I'm doing. So I think that helps a lot because I'm not going to steer people the wrong way. I'm going to make sure they have knowledgeable decisions and help them find the right home.
Last thing I'm going to ask you is, and I know these are words that you live by, but the mantra at CTBB Realty is?
People over paychecks and do the damn thing.
And that's what we do.
Big shout out to the Closing Time Podcast and CTBB Realty. If you're looking for a house, make sure you hit them up and tell them Posting Up Podcast and Clovercrest Media sent you. But now, let's close it out like we've been doing it the past couple weeks with our locks of the night. Best bet. Zay, we'll start with you here.
Just to piss our guy Pride off, I'm going to take Orlando. Excuse me, almost messed up. The Wizards getting 2 against Orlando. Excuse me. Anybody playing Orlando should beat them handedly. So obviously, I'm going to take the Wizards, who are not a pretender, and go with them this week. Tonight, actually. Excuse me.
They're fraudulent. I'm not even gonna start with that.
Well,
I mean,
the Magic are kind of weird. Didn't they beat the Knicks? And they beat my Jazz. So I mean, hey,
listen,
you're talking about the Knicks got their own issues going on right now. I'm not gonna get into that. They got their own issues.
Oh, but we can get into the Celtics issues.
Because our issues are more of people not playing where they should be playing and producing the way they should be, and knowing that a guy that we brought in wasn't going to be that great and we should have never brought him in, but whatever, I'm not getting into it.
You got to be talking about Kemba.
Like I said with Kemba Walker, I said it was a great deal because it's a 1-year deal because you're not going to get nothing from him. That's all I said on that one. That was
I think he really came in just to kind of like provide leadership and kind of just
to look good. Until we
that's
Portland.
really all I think.
Until we trade to Portland.
I didn't love it.
Until we trade him and Randall to freaking Portland.
All right. Okay. All right.
Randall can't hit a free throw. Jesus.
Pride, what you got?
I'm for me, I want look, supposedly the Clippers are playing the Timberwolves and they're supposed to be, I guess they're a 7-point favorite. If you put down 20, you'll make damn near 40. So when you see something like that, that's something you kind of got to bite on. Look, I like this Minnesota team and Paul George. I mean, look, it's regular season, so we know Paul George. He's going to show up in the regular season. We all know that. He's been on a tear. I believe he's still top 5 in scoring per game. So again, regular season. When you have an opportunity to put down some money and like virtually double it, especially on frankly an easy pick, if we're gonna be honest, because Clippers over Wolves, that's as easy as it can possibly get. I would that's kind of would be mine. I would stick with the 7. I would stick with that because just to be on the safe side. But don't be surprised if it's double digits. Or like a double digit win for the Clippers.
All right. And I like that.
Disrespectful to the Bulls.
You said what?
It's disrespectful to the Bulls.
To the Bulls? How?
They're playing really good. Don't disrespect them.
No, the Timberwolves. They're not.
Oh, they said the Bulls. Okay.
No. They're playing Minnesota. No. Whoa.
Okay, that's like okay. I heard Bulls.
Ain't that crazy? No, come on, don't do me like that now.
I was like, that's disrespectful. Okay. Now we're on the same page. Yeah.
All right. Now I'm gonna come a little clean about the last segment. The part of the reason why I put the Raptors as a contender was because they've been making me money. The best bet, my best bet, like every week, this is gonna be my best bet. It's going to be my man Scotty Barnes getting a double-double. I think it's plus 270 right now. I'm like 5-1 betting with that. The last time he had 9 rebounds one time, and that's my only loss with it. So I'm not gonna shame that. Plus 270, Scotty Barnes scoring a double-double. That's been easy money for me all season long. So it will be easy money for you. And I also love, where'd it go? I just had it. Pascal Siakam expected to come back over 17.5 points. I think he comes back with full force, scores at least 20. So yeah, I'm riding high on the Raptors. They've been making me money. So
yeah, I mean, if there's another one I'm allowed to piggyback on, if there's any opportunity from Houston, Jalen Green, if there's any, if they had all give you like a 14.5, take the over, because this kid is, I expect him now to kind of go on a tear where he's going to be just furious. And on top of that, he's becoming their number one option. You know what I mean? Like, he kind of really has the ball and gets to shoot at will and pretty much, do what he wants. So if you ever see that 14.5, at the bare minimum, consider the over, because I expect this kid to just start blowing up, like, sooner rather than later.
For the record, I'm in New York where we can't bet, so
sad.
Having a ton of them wouldn't help me. So.
Sad. I would never understand that.
I'm sorry. That's why I'm not huge on the betting game, people. I'm sorry. We can't do it here. We can't do it here.
Don't worry. Don't bet, Zay.
I don't need to bet. I got enough. I got 2 daughters. I don't need to bet. I got enough money. I spend a week.
Hey, but you can make money. That's the lovely thing about betting. But
you got to listen to yourself, Jace. Apparently, when it comes to Scotty and Sean,
dude. We do enough research about this stuff. We might as well make some money on this. You would have won big betting on the Titans last week. I'm just saying.
I won Joe some money.
You called that. You did win Joe some money. But yeah, so bet responsibly. Those are our locks of the night. Also, another bet that's been making me a lot of money, Rudy Gobert over rebounds. It's been giving me like 13, 14. That's been the line. He's been averaging like 17. Easy money there.
Can we get this in New York already?
hey, it's soon. It'll be there soon.
I'll be honest with you. Like, Rudy Gobert rebounds is like one of the easiest.
Yeah.
Be doing those I'd be doing those all day. Those little bets. Jeez.
Bro. Like, they those things are easy to the point where like you be seeing people bet like over thousands of dollars because of how easy, bro. It's easy. It's literally easy money.
The first week of the season, he was averaging 20 rebounds per game, but the line was 13. I said it on this show. It made me money. I mean, if you bet with me, it should have made you money. But so yeah, I mean, and also I'm undefeated as far as locks of the night go. I've yet to lose, never lost. So hey, I'm hot right now.
Make real money here.
I can't wait to make real money here.
All right, that's gonna do it for the show. Thank you, Pride, for joining us. Thanks, Zay.
As always.
Yep. And I'm Big Jace. Make sure you check out MosquitoShieldCT.com. Tell them Posting Up Podcast and Clovercrest Media sent you. And CTBB Realty. If you're living in the market for a house, make sure you hit them up. And tell them that Clovercrest Media sent you. And they'll help you out. But that's going to do it for Posting Up this week. Today. We'll see you on Tuesday.
This week?
Time. Yeah, so this week, yeah. But enjoy the games tonight. And, have fun. And we'll see you next Tuesday for more Posting Up. Take care, everyone.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.